Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. It means we're brought to you by Daryl May, licensed realtor, Louisiana and Mississippi with Remax Partners. Got Jordan Kitchens and Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up, you're here with us. Hope your work week is off to a good start. Glenn West in 30 minutes. Colin Jeter, LSU Alumni Association, former Tiger tight end, with us at 2 o'clock. Sharif Ishak will be along in 15 minutes to chat with us about the New Orleans Saints. So we got lots to do. Let's start things with some updates from LSU. I'm not going to say this like 6 more times in December. I'll get to the point more quickly as we get closer to LSU and Houston in the Texas Bowl. But I do feel like in this instance, it's important that I'm clear about my personal feelings on things and why I think today was at least a reasonable development. I lost interest in these bowl games when John Trey Kirkland played quarterback for 4 hours in the Texas Bowl, and then the next year LSU went to Florida and played a Purdue team with no coach and no quarterback and no wide receiver and no tight end and Drew Brees on the sideline. Like, LSU's roster in that Texas Bowl after the 2021 season was embarrassing, and what Purdue put out there on the field a year later was embarrassing. And with the transfer portal opening right after the game and the understanding that you don't know if any of the players that are participating in your team's bowl game are going to be there the following year, there's just not a lot to draw from it. If you've got a lopsided matchup like Georgia and Florida State very famously, like the 2 games I just talked about, like, it's not competitive on the field. And then if you were trying to say, well, it's kind of a springboard into next year's season, which I don't think I didn't buy it as much as some of the former players, which take their word for it over mine. That's fine with me. But like, I just don't know that losing the Cotton Bowl or winning the Chick-fil-A Bowl or winning the Citrus Bowl at the time or losing the Music City Bowl was really, really impactful come Labor Day of the next year. Like, I don't know that I fully bought into that. But there was a sense of, like, you had some young guys that were playing that were going to be back, so let's watch those guys go get it. Like, I was interested in Garrett Nussmeier getting that start against Wisconsin a couple years ago in that bowl game. I didn't really care if LSU won or lost the game, but I knew that Garrett Nussmeier was likely to be the quarterback the following season. It was getting his first real start. Like, okay, let's watch him and see how this goes. And he ended up leading a touchdown drive at the end of the game. He played pretty well. LSU won the game, and he became a prolific passer at LSU the next season. And so, like, there was a draw into that bowl game. But, like, big picture, you're going to have to set a significant hook for me to really feel like I'm invested in these bowl games. This is a me thing. I'm not telling you how to feel. Trust me. Like, if you want to go nuts, put on your purple and gold, scream at the television, get drunk, have a watch party, and invest in this one like they're playing Alabama in early November, perfectly fine. That's great. I just can't do it. I got jaded by those 2 bowl games that I watched LSU play in, and then I've watched this kind of play out. So to me, like, when they announced that you're playing Houston in the bowl game, one, I'm bummed out because that's my kid's birthday and I have to leave Shreveport a little bit early, and the postgame show is not going to end until 2 o'clock in the morning. So that wasn't great for me personally. But, like, from the bowl game perspective, I look at it and go, okay, not a lot for me to chew on. But at least today, we got a sense of what roster LSU is bringing to Houston. It's all subject to change. Guys can opt out. Guys can decide they don't want to play. Guys can enter the transfer portal. Like, I'm not 100% certain, but Frank Wilson spoke on the teleconference today for the bowl game and gave us a pretty good outline of what LSU is bringing to the Texas Bowl. Garrett Nussmeier is not going to play. Garrett Nussmeier has been hurt all year. He didn't play in LSU's last 3 games. He's not going to go out there and play in the Texas Bowl. So he's out. If you stick to the offensive side of the ball, Aaron Anderson is not likely to play per Frank Wilson. And if you say not likely at this point on the 9th of December and you've got 18 days to go, that's a pretty grim outlook. Frank Wilson's the guy who constantly on Mondays, like, we're hopeful. We're hopeful this guy's going to play on Saturday. We're hopeful that guy's going to play on Saturday. The guy that would come to the mic on Thursday and usually say, we'll give it a look on game day. For him to say, not likely. For Aaron Anderson, this far out, feels like he's probably not going to play either. Braylon Moore, he said there's a chance. And that, to me, indicates that Braylon Moore would like to try to play in this game. I think if he had no interest in playing in the game, that Frank Wilson would have said that, because Garrett Nussmeier's not playing, and there are a couple guys on defense, Whit Weeks and Mansour Tulane, who aren't playing in this game. So the fact that he said that Braylon Moore is got a chance, that suggests to me that he may well play in this game. But then you go to the defensive side of the ball, and probably your two best players, Whit Weeks and Mansour Tulane, not going to play in this game. And then the other name that he mentioned outwardly, and he wasn't really asked about individual players. He kind of went through the entire thing that was in front of him. He was clearly, this is not like revealing any breaking news, it was a video teleconference he was on, but he was literally peeking over to look at the sheet he had to know who was available and who was not. And it's clear that they've had these conversations with these players. So you're not going to have Whit Weeks, you're not going to have Mansour Tulane, but and Jack Pyburn is the other one that I was getting to there that sounds like an opt-out. Jack Pyburn came to LSU to play more on third downs, to get a chance to rush the passer, to get a change of scenery in a new program and to chase a national championship. And he's developed. He got to play a lot. They're not going to win a national championship. He may say, hey, it's time for me to go to the NFL. And that's what a lot of players are going to do this time of the year. If you're one of those people that says that's an unacceptable stance, you line up with this team in August, you need to be with them at the end of December, I'm not backing you off that. I'm just telling you that what Pyburn is likely doing here is something that a lot of players across the country are going to be doing at this point. So outside of that, you kind of got what you got. You've got an offensive line that sounds like it's going to participate. You've got wide receiving core outside of Aaron Anderson. It sounds like it's going to participate. Your running back should be out there. At corner, you lose Mansour Tulane. That's a big deal. And you've lost Ashton Stamps in the transfer portal, so it's going to be DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, and then kind of figure it out beyond that. Nobody has to worry about burning a red shirt. So you'll have, if they want to play Javian Toviano, if they want to play Aiden Anding, if they want to kick TaMarcus Cooley down and play Spears back at safety, like they have a lot of options that they can play with that nickel role, with that other cornerback role. But your first two will be Pickett and PJ Woodland. It sounds like AJ Halsey and TaMarcus Cooley will play in this game. At linebacker, you won't have Whit Weeks, and it seems like, based on his Instagram post, that West Weeks is not going to play in this game. That I can't confirm based on the Instagram post, but he did say goodbye to LSU. Would have felt like something you'd probably do after the bowl game if you were going to play in the bowl game, but West didn't come up today with Frank Wilson. But you still got Devon Keys, and you still got some of those other guys that you can count on at linebacker. Maybe Zach Weeks comes up and plays a little bit more. Tylen Singleton got a little bit of run this year. So it's not a roster that is going to be crippled. And let's be candid, when you bring in that many players out of the transfer portal and your coach gets fired and your position coaches, especially on the defensive side of the ball, especially on the offensive side of the ball, are on the way out and you're only playing in the Texas Bowl against Houston, it would not have surprised really anybody to see significant opt-outs in this game. And it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Michael Van Buren will be the quarterback, and you'll go out there and you'll play Houston in the Texas Bowl in a game that doesn't have a lot of consequences, but should feature enough scholarship players to make LSU functional. So this game, while it is the Texas Bowl, it's way below what you were looking for when you started this thing off in August and when you won that game against Clemson. I don't believe this game is going to be an outward joke. So we start there. And I feel like I have to start there. Like, some of these bowl games are jokes. This one doesn't appear to be a joke. It's more in line with what we saw last year with LSU and Baylor. And you saw a couple of teams that, didn't have everybody that they had in the middle of November, but that essentially had their quarterbacks, had their skill position players, fielded a defense, and were ready to go out there and play some football. So from that perspective, I think it could be an interesting football game competitively. Is it going to have massive impact on what LSU does moving into the Lane Kiffin era? I don't think so. Is it a chance for Michael Van Buren to go out there and audition to be the starting quarterback for Lane Kiffin? Maybe. But I feel like LSU is going to be pretty aggressive in the transfer portal for a quarterback. So I think I'm not going to preview this game right now. We're not going to get into that 2 weeks out. We'll do that right before Christmas, so late next week, early the following week. But big picture, zooming out 5,000 feet, 30,000 feet, whatever you want to call it, it should be reasonably attended and competitive between these two teams. And that beats the heck out of some of the stuff we've seen previously. Is it as good as the playoff? Nope. Is it as good as the bowl games were 15 years ago? Nope. Are bowl games on their way out? Probably. You got 10 teams opting out of bowls, including some good ones like Notre Dame that are taking their ball and going home. We'll talk about that at the end of this hour. But it shouldn't be a joke. And so that's where we can start. And, you hope LSU goes out there and wins the game. Pulling for Frank in his final game. He took some other questions today about his future at LSU, said that determination has not been made. He just kind of dismissed the question. It feels like that determination probably has been made between he and Lane Kiffin, but Frank did say multiple times today that there's kind of two existing operations going on right now. The LSU staff from 2025 is working on this bowl game. They start workouts today. They start practice on Thursday. And Lane Kiffin and some of his staff are working on the program as a whole. They're working on position coach hirings. They were dealing with that signing class. They're going to study what goes on in the transfer portal. Now, we know that a lot of LSU's future staff is back in Oxford on offense, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show today. But it's a team that's getting ready for the Texas Bowl, and then it's a program that's moving forward in Lane Kiffin, and those are kind of operating independent of one another. And it seems to be that they're coexisting quite nicely at this point. I'm not in there. I can't tell you that for sure. That's just what we're getting from Frank Wilson today, who took questions for about 12 minutes about this Texas Bowl. So for LSU, you're going to be without Garrett Nussmeier, without Mansour Delane, without Whit Weeks, probably without Aaron Anderson, maybe without Braylon Moore. We'll see what happens with Jack Pyburn. We'll see what happens with Ahmad Bro. It sounded like from Frank Wilson today that Bro would likely play. You're going to be without Ashton Stamps and maybe Wallace Foster, Kylan Billiot, Jelani Watkins, some of those guys that have gone in the portal. But you've got, relatively speaking, a sizable portion of your 2025 roster that will travel to Houston and play in this football game. So whatever that's worth, that's what we'll get to coming up later on this month. Let's switch over to the Saints. We'll do that with Sharif Ishak next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Daryl May of Remax Partners. Daryl is someone with a unique set of skills if you're looking to buy or sell a home or some land in Louisiana or Mississippi. Daryl is a Baton Rouge lifer. He was born and raised here in Baton Rouge, now is proud to call St. Francisville home. So whether or not you're looking in the city limits here in Baton Rouge or somewhere that could be a secondary home or just a home outside the hustle and bustle you've always wanted, Daryl has experience in both of those. He also spent more than 20 years as a builder here in Baton Rouge. That means he has intimate knowledge of what good construction looks like, what good builds look like, what you should be in the market. So if you're looking for a home, he can help you find the one for you. Selling, buying, Daryl can do it all. And I also want to mention that he's happy to help you with hunting listings in Mississippi, with Gulf Coast listings in Mississippi. If you're looking for that home in Pass Christian or that condo over there in Bay St. Louis, he can help you with all that as well. He's with Remax Partners, DarylMayProperties.com. That's Daryl May with Remax Properties.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you'll likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May Remax Partners.
Brought to you every Tuesday by Daryl May of Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Glenn West coming up in 15 minutes talking Tigers. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. Sharif Ishak down in New Orleans with WDSU. Joins on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharif, how we doing?
Good, man. I'm doing good. Got a Saints win, Tulane win. I mean, that's pretty good, I would say, in the city of New Orleans, where everything is kind of negative.
Yeah, it's not been great, but the Saints did win, and I didn't think it was fluky. I thought they went to Tampa and just straight up played better. Now, it wasn't a gaudy game in terms of the numbers, but you made the plays you had to, and Tyler Shuck did that. What'd you think of the rookie signal caller?
Look, I thought he had a very good game in the pocket. I understood he took the 3 sacks. You could say 2 of them kind of weren't on him. But you have to remember, Hunt, he's playing with 2 starters, and the other guys are second string and even third string offensive linemen. So for the most part, I thought he did pretty good. His pocket presence and his awareness is something that continues to improve with each game. I just like the way he has the awareness. He can, take a look at all of his receivers. He's done a good job of going through his progressions. And if something isn't there, he'll just flush the pocket and either run or make a play down the field. And the one thing that I enjoyed watching him do in this game, it was early on the first drive, he got the ball out quickly, and they were throwing the ball between the hashes really well. And that was just from start to finish. That's one thing that he's done exceptionally well this season as a starting quarterback is he takes advantage between the hashes, and he uses Juwan Johnson really well. So and Devon Bailey. So when I look at his progression in terms of a starting quarterback, they might have something here. Huh? They might have something at least through the rest of this season and next season.
And hope it's what you're looking for. You're not going to blow anybody away, generally speaking, as a rookie quarterback. You just got to make the necessary strides and find your way. And Shuck sat the first half of the season. Now he's in there. And I think one of the things that has stood out to me is that he's gotten Devon Bailey involved. And this is a guy that was a no-show for about 8 weeks, probably through no fault of his own. Not anymore. What do you think?
I mean, you asked me this question last week when we had this conversation, and I said they spent the 4th and 7th round pick on him. And look, he continues to show up again. The where he shows up the most to me, Hunt, is on third down. I feel like it's his go-to receiver on third down. He seems to find them. He seems to find a way to get open and get Tyler Shuck that catch that they really need to move the sticks. And that's what impresses me. He can go over the middle of the field and he can work the sidelines. That's the possession receiver that they've needed at least for the last 2 years, and now they have it in Devon Bailey. He's something this offense could use. Now, they could use some more playmakers. That's something during the offseason we could talk about, but at least you know what you have when it comes to Bailey, Olave, and at least Juwan Johnson in terms of guys out there who can run routes. Devin Neal? How about that? Yeah, man. I've been kicking and screaming for more Devin Neal touches. And it's not the carries, it's also in the receiving game. I mean, he wasn't the leading rusher in Kansas by accident, dude. The guy is actually a good running back. He's pretty strong. He runs really well between the tackles. And if you flip the ball to him on the outside, he can make some moves and truck you. And you saw a glimpse of that in that game against the Buccaneers. And that's what they need. We keep saying this every week, Hunt. We need to see hope. You need to see development from your class that you had this year. And so far, look, man, this draft class is improving by the game, and that's a positive sign for this franchise.
I'm cautious because we got kind of excited after they went to Carolina and won, and they got the bye week, and you kind of got the vibes were good, and then they fell flat on their face against Atlanta. And I feel like we're kind of setting ourselves up here with a little bit of optimism, which has been few and far between for New Orleans really the last 2 years. Are you still cautious? Are you full-on optimistic? Like, what do we think about what we're talking about here? These young players playing well and winning a game.
Look, I'm optimistic about the young players, but in terms of like doing it from game to game, it's okay to be cautiously optimistic. I will say the difference between that win over the Panthers going into that Falcons game was that bye week kind of ruined a little bit of that momentum. This time, the Panthers are coming off a bye week, and the Saints are the ones who are playing after having a good game in Tampa against they were the division leaders. I guess they still are technically, but that's something you can hang your hat on. That at least they're going to get to play again this week instead of having that bye week. And there are some teams the Saints just have good matchups against, and that's the Carolina Panthers. Some teams you just match up well against, and this is the one team that they do match up well against. So I would feel very optimistic going into this matchup after seeing what they did last week. And it's not just like what you saw from Shuck and Dele and Devin Neal. The defense has actually played much better under Brandon Staley as the weeks have gone on.
Carolina is somebody that has been the punching bag of the division for the last couple of years. Bryce Young has worn that moniker as well. At this point, they've played well enough times this year where I got to kind of take it easy this week because they've found a way to win a lot of games. Where are you with Carolina and how this could shake out on Sunday?
Yeah, you're right about that, Hunt. They have found ways to win some very important games, to say the least. I mean, to go to Green Bay and win a game, that's not easy. It's not easy to win to Green Bay. I mean, they punched the Cowboys. They beat the Rams. I mean, come on. Those are some really good teams they beat. For them to beat those three teams, let alone, I mean, that's just impressive. But for some reason, the Saints must be their kryptonite. I don't know what it is. It's just a matchup. They just do well against Bryce Young. They're able to bottle him up, and then they rely on a little Rico Dowdle or anybody in the run game, and it just seems to shut down immediately because Bryce Young can't do anything much against them. He's awesome against the Falcons, but when it comes against the Saints, he's not that good against the Saints, and that's just how it is sometimes. Some teams just do well against you.
Talking about the young defensive backs, Kool-Aid, Alontae Taylor, they've made some plays. Jonas Sanker, to a degree, earlier in the season, made some plays recently. Are you feeling a little better about those guys? Because they've had some weeks that were not very good.
Now, that's where I would say I'm cautiously optimistic when it comes to that secondary, especially Alontae Taylor. Nice interception. Tez Johnson kind of didn't run the route the whole way, but hey, sometimes you take advantage of the mistakes. Jonas Sanker, he was up and down in the game. Quincy Riley, I thought, played decently in that game. He played really decent in that game. And Kool-Aid, he was also decent. But I just need to see more, Hunt. And I keep saying this all the time when you ask me about I need to see more consistently. But you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it. And it really helps those guys back there whenever the defensive line continues to get after the quarterback and even flush the run game. And that's kind of like why I thought they played decent in that game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those young guys are going to grow, and this is a good growing situation for them with these 4 games left in the season. It's good. You want to see this, like I said, you want to see them continue to grow and develop, and the excitement is tempered, but you should feel a little bit better at least after seeing some of these games and how they continue to progress.
We know what the schedule is down the stretch. We know you got Carolina. We know you got a bad Tennessee team, a bad Jets team. Like, where are you on how many games that they need to win down the stretch?
I took them to go 5-12 before the season, and that's realistic.
Yeah.
Go 2-2 down the stretch. They can go 2-2. Like, I'm not saying they're going to beat Carolina this week, because I do think Carolina is still a good team. But at some point, you have to win a home game. And we only have 2 home games left. So the Jets in this game. I'm going to go 2-2. I think they still finish 5-12. That's what I had them before the season. I think they're going to run into Titans and Jets, who are playing the tank off, and somebody's going to have to lose at some point. So, and I think Titans sitting at 2-11, the Saints are sitting at 3-10. You can do the math there. Somebody's taking off right there.
If you go 5-12 and you win 3 of your last 5, which this would mean, like, would you feel pretty good going to the offseason about that?
I would feel good if I knew that Tyler Shark was the guy who continues to see his stock rise in these Final Four, because you want to see if he is your franchise quarterback, at least for next year. And the way he plays and the confidence, look, I know he's older than he is outplaying the rest of the quarterback class from this past draft. It's not even close. It really isn't. He's outplaying everybody. So, like, if he is, like, trending in that direction and you're going into the offseason and you're picking, like, 9th or 10th and you're 5-12, look, you just say, hey, I need to put pieces around him. I need to draft some players. Look, I have Devin Neal, too. I have some other draft, like Kelvin Banks. He's done well. I mean, Stutzman. And you're like, Riley. And you're like, okay, now all we need to do is put some pieces around Tyler after the way he played to close the season, and I feel really good. I mean, that's how the 5-12 feels really good.
So you going to pick them to win on Sunday?
You know what? I picked them to lose last few weeks. I just feel like it's something about their matchup with the Panthers that they're really like have their number. So I am going to pick the Saints to win this week.
I love to hear that. We'll talk about it next week. But also want a thumbnail on Tulane hiring Will Hall, which I know was not high on most fans' lists.
He said exactly that in his press conference today. It was the first thing he kind of said. Like, I know I wasn't everyone's number one choice in this room, but look, Pete Carroll wasn't USC's number one choice, and it turned out okay. I think that's a tough comparison to make.
Yeah.
I think when the Blake Baker thing fell apart for the last second, I really think the coaching cycle was kind of closed off on it. We saw a lot of the coaches already take other jobs, and they just kept it within the family. And you just got to hope that he keeps most of his coaching staff intact, because that would help him with continuity. And at least to be successful, you do not want to see this program go backwards. I mean, after what Willie and John have done to build this program back up, you better hope that David Harris made the right decision here, because if not, they're going to be hiring another coach in a few years.
Reminds me of Mickey Loomis comparing Dennis Allen to Chuck Noll.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, it feels like that Tulane did what the Saints did hiring Dennis Allen, but to be determined. He was 14-30 at Southern Miss, and I think he feels like he learned a lot from his time at Southern Miss. It's going to help him even more. I mean, it's a better program than Southern Miss, so he has to be better than 3 to 6 wins a year.
No question about it. All right, Sharif, we appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
You got it, Hunt. See you next week.
Sharif Ishak, WDSU down in New Orleans, talking all things Saints. A little Tulane as well. Our Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partner. We'll come back to Glenn West next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com, HighlandIG.com. All your property and casualty needs from a commercial insurance perspective, they got you covered over at the Highland Insurance Group. If you're one of those that really focuses on premium, that's understandable. You're not nearly alone on that. That's the main thing you're looking for in an insurance program. You're not alone. But there's another aspect to this. And there's a technical aspect to it that can, 1, improve the coverage that you have, and 2, can help you in terms of premium. Jonathan told me a story, and I've told you all this before, about they took on a new client who had 5 locations for the business. And the entire general liability policy had $1 million for the 5 locations. He took each location and put $1 million on each location. So now $5 million of coverage for the same premium, because they know how to work with carriers. They know what space carriers want to be in, and they know what clients fit with those carriers, and they know how to make all those puzzle pieces fit together so that you get the best coverage at the correct price. That's the entirety of working with insurance. It's not just, well, how much money can you save me? That's a big deal, and Highland Insurance Group knows that. They absolutely are going to take premium into account, and they're an independent broker. They can shop with multiple different markets and make sure you're placed in the right place. But they're going to make sure the coverage is right as well to protect your business, because you don't know when that hurricane's coming, when that car accident may happen, the lawsuit happens, one of your employees clicks the wrong email and you've got a phishing situation. All those things can be covered by insurance, but if you're just looking at the premium, you might miss it. The Highland Insurance Group won't. Jonathan Carver and his team right here in Baton Rouge, they can help you out statewide. Check them out online at highlandig.com, highlandig.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me. Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here, helping your roof to become the best version of itself.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May Remax Partners.
Notre Dame's athletic director keeps talking, so we'll talk about that coming up in 15 minutes, close out hour number one. He's still doing just a full court press media tour, as if that's going to help anything at all. I'll talk about it coming up. Glenn West covers the Tigers for Go 24/7 with us on Tuesdays on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Glenn, how are you?
Doing great, Hunt. How about yourself?
Doing all right. You listened to Frank Wilson earlier today. He was asked about his future at LSU. What did you read into his response?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like they're keeping the lines of conversation open between him and Lane Kiffin. It sounds like they've had some really good talks here over the last couple of weeks as he's gotten settled in. I hope they can make something work here. I don't have a crystal ball to look into the future and see if Frank Wilson is going to be on this staff in 2026, but he's obviously somebody that means a lot to recruits in this state, particularly in the New Orleans area. He was great, I guess, in getting this recruiting class over the finish line in 2026 and getting all these in-state players to stick to their commitments and sign with the Tigers. So I hope that something works out here. But I honestly don't know, because I think there is still a little bit kind of up in the air about Kevin Smith, who's the Ole Miss running backs coach right now, and whether or not he could potentially be coming on staff and just what that might mean for Frank and what his role could look like. So it's good that they're still communicating. It's good that him and Lane are having these conversations, but it sounds like nothing's going to be decided here until after the bowl game.
Since we last spoke, obviously National Signing Day and the early signing period come and gone, and Blake Baker had an announcement on Friday that he'll be back. So what did you make of the last 7 days for Lane Kiffin's program?
Huge. I mean, I think just as big as getting these guys, settled in, and from a recruiting class perspective was, getting that commitment from Blake Baker that he's going to be back in 2026. And look, just listening to his comments yesterday, I listened to his interview with the off the bench guys, and it sounds like a guy that doesn't want to move. He's moved a lot with his family here over the last several years, and I think he wants to plant his roots here for a little bit longer. And I think that bodes well for Lane Kiffin. It bodes well for this defense and the future of this defense. And now that decision has been made, the other staff moves on that side of the ball have been kind of put into motion, and it'll be great to have Corey Raymond stick around, Kevin Peoples, Jake Olson. That continuity is really, really important to have as you're making all these moves on the other side of the ball. So I hope it's going to work out. We're going to get a chance now for these next couple of weeks for Kiffin and his defensive staff to work together about the kind of players that they want to go attack here in the transfer portal, because I do think they're going to need to fill some needs. But getting Blake Baker on board, at least for this next year, and hopefully potentially a little longer, I think is a really, really good sign and a really good move for Lane Kiffin in his first couple weeks on the job.
How would you grade the defense overall for this season?
Probably an A-. I mean, I think there was a couple week stretch there against, A&M and Vanderbilt where really nobody played well on either side of the ball. And, that was kind of the worst part of their stretch there. But, look, they held Ole Miss to 24 points. They had an opportunity to win that game. They put the clamps down on Alabama's offense and held them to 20 points. Oklahoma, they had a chance to win that game as well. They just were consistently let down by the offensive side of the ball throughout the entirety of 2025. And I think that they did a really, really nice job of playing consistent football for the most part. And, I think the one, I guess kind of knock that you could still have on them is that they kind of let a couple of those mobile quarterbacks, Marcel Reed and Diego Pavia in particular, get going a little bit with their legs. But those are two really dynamic, really explosive quarterbacks, and they did that a lot to a lot of different teams and a lot of different defenses this year. So, Pavia is going to be sitting up there in New York with the chance to win the Heisman. So, that kind of stuff happens to you defensively, but they were very, very consistent. I thought they did a great job of improving in the secondary. I think that's the most impressive group, when you look at the long-term future of this defense, is the cornerback and safety room, and to, be where we are now from where that group was maybe 2 years ago, I think is massively important and mighty impressive.
What's your interest level in the Texas Bowl?
How do I answer this? Not too curious about the Texas Bowl. I think, look, the most important thing here over the next couple weeks is for Lane Kiffin to get his eyes on this team and on these players, particularly some of these younger guys that they might want to keep in the program and might want to convince to stay. I think that's probably the most important thing you can learn. Well, maybe a couple of veteran guys, also be able to stick around. And I think, a name like Whit Weeks makes a lot of sense to potentially stick around for a senior year. Frank was also asked about that today and said those are ongoing conversations. So, I think that's the most important thing is for these young guys to get a couple more weeks of practice and, see which players might be able to stick around for this next era of LSU football. But there are some important pieces on both sides of the ball that I think can benefit from these next couple weeks of practice, and certainly from an extra game here in a couple weeks against Houston.
All right, let's shift over to basketball. How big a deal was Sunday?
It was a pretty big deal to me. Like I think it was the first time we got a chance to see this team against real competition, and they kind of fell flat on their face. I mean, I think Texas Tech shot really well. I mean, like they shot the ball better in the first half than they probably will in any other half this season. But I think for me, the most important thing that I saw was just how difficult it was for LSU to create offense against a team that's very physical and very skilled and very long and very strong. Because those are the kind of teams that LSU is going to be facing here in SEC play for the next 4 months, and so or 2 or 3 months. But I think it was really a big deal that they just were not able to score in any capacity. They were they had open shots at some points and they just weren't going in. But really, I think the physicality in the paint and just the big lesson that I think I took, and hopefully LSU took, is that the first 8 games, those looks are not going to be as easy or as consistent, and they're going to have to find ways to manufacture those looks in more efficient ways here going forward. They were not very consistent in the paint. I think they shot under 45% on their twos. This has been an elite team in the first 8 or 9 games of being able to convert in the paint and get to the free throw line, and that was definitely not anything they were able to do in that Texas Tech game. So it's certainly one you're going to put at the top there as if you're an SEC opponent as to how you want to try to defend this LSU team here going forward. And they're going to need some guys to start knocking down some outside shots to really spread the floor, open up the offense, and allow for some opportunities in the paint where they're not allowed, where the defenses aren't going to be collapsing on LSU's offense.
Kind of the same question. How big is this coming Saturday in New Orleans for this team against SMU?
Yeah, they need a bounce back for sure. I mean, they need guys to shoot better. They need guys to, not turn the ball over. They need, the Woko and those front court players to play more physical. It's an important game. These next couple games here, you got to really try to find some spark and really head into SEC play with some confidence and momentum. And I think that's going to be, a real test here against SMU on Saturday. They're another team that's, kind of long and physical, and they have an opportunity here to really kind of bounce back against these guys, but it's they have to find some kind of cohesion offensively for this team to be any good, and I think that's going to have to start this weekend against SMU, and trying to find some ways that they can be more creative in the paint and finding offensive opportunities for those guys to convert at a more efficient rate.
Looking for team coverage, football, basketball, baseball, recruiting coverage, they got you over there at Go 24/7. Glenn with us on Tuesdays. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks, Hunt.
He is Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7. Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners. If you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to sell your home, give Daryl a call. I'll give you a cell phone number every single week on Tuesdays. It's 225-268-6915. 225-268-6915. You can also find him at darylmayproperties.com. Baton Rouge lifer, 20 years as a builder, now on the realtor side, looking for some place in Mississippi, whether it's hunting land or a secondary home, or looking to move in Baton Rouge. Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners, happy to help you out with that. We'll step aside when we come back, close out the hour, coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Why should you bank with First American Bank and Trust? Well, it's a local bank. They've been down here in South Louisiana for 115 years. 25 locations, Baton Rouge, Jones Creek, Dutchtown, moving over to I-12 to Hammond, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, down south, St. James, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne. 25 locations in Southeast Louisiana. And these folks that work here at First American Bank and Trust are part of your community. So when you call and have questions, or you're looking for a loan, and you're looking for a decision to be made, it's made locally. It's made right here by people that you see every single day. You're not calling some call center in Atlanta. You're not calling a call center in Chicago or LA. You're calling right here in Baton Rouge, in Lafourche Parish, in Metairie. That's what you're calling. First American Bank and Trust. All decisions are made locally by people inside your community. But don't say, oh, well, it's just a mom and pop shop. Like, can they do the things I need them to do from a commercial perspective? Absolutely. 25 locations. They've got assets, and they've got people that are here to help you. It's a community bank right here. It's First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Darrell May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Darrell May Remax Partners.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Darrell May of Remax Partners. Closing out hour number 1 here. Colin Jeter will be with us in 12 minutes. This is just a me thing. I'm very honest. I'm a communicator. I like to put cards on the table. I don't like to be deceitful. I was bad at sales because in my head, to be a great salesman, oftentimes you've got to control the conversation and shape the way someone thinks and maybe be a little bit pushy and apply a little bit of pressure. And those are things that I don't have a lot of confidence in doing. I don't like to do. I like to just be open and honest. And because of that viewpoint that I have, like public relations to me, this is a me thing. I'm not being literal here. This is up into interpretation. Public relations to me, oftentimes, I find to be deceptive, to be dishonest. I find it to be manipulative and disingenuous. When I think about public relations, I think about something that happens, and then your job is to make the public think something different, even if we all just watched it happen. I don't like public relations for the most part because of that. I'm not painting with an entirely broad brush about every public relations department and everything they always do. There's a lot of public relations that's great work. But in this case, with this Notre Dame thing I'm about to talk about, it feels like there's a point of diminishing returns, and Pete Bavacqua has gone way past it. He is Notre Dame's athletics director. And after this selection show on Sunday, he has gone on the warpath. He is getting in front of every microphone, in front of every camera he can possibly find, and I find that it's doing more harm than good. You're talking about a guy who said that at Notre Dame and the ACC, there's been permanent damage done between Notre Dame and the ACC. He had the audacity today to say we had one of the most dominant 10-game runs in the history of college football. Pete, let me be pretty clear here, boss. This dominant 10-game run was against Purdue and Arkansas and Boise State and NC State and USC and Boston College and Navy and Pitt and Syracuse and Stanford. And those teams are not good. The only team you played in that stretch that is good is USC. That's it. The rest of it was a joke. It's a joke. Your schedule is a joke. The only 2 games that you played against really good teams, you lost. You lost the games. So I don't need to hear you get in front of a microphone and scream about corruption and scream about collusion and scream. You left yourself vulnerable because you went out there in the first 2 games of the season and you got beat. In any discussion you have beyond that, you're going to have to start with the losses. You have to. Nobody wants to sit here and talk about beating NC State. No one cares. Arkansas is the worst team in the SEC. Nobody cares about your game with Navy. Nobody. Go win it. 49-10. Awesome. We don't care. You played 2 good teams. You lost. That's where the conversation has to start. Don't tell me about the 10-game run after you lost. Everyone's got a kowtow to Notre Dame at every turn. Every time we put together a playoff, we have to talk about the power conferences and Notre Dame. And every time we put together a bowl thing, we have to talk about and Notre Dame. And now we got a memorandum of understanding that Notre Dame is signed with the College Football Playoff Committee that says if they're in the top 12 next year, that they're automatically in. Why? Go play by everybody else's rules. If you want to find yourself to be elite and you want to go ahead and put your own schedule together and then you can't handle your business in your own schedule, quit going in front of every microphone and telling me that you got screwed. Nobody wants to hear it. You did not beat anyone. You played a season and didn't beat anybody. So this constant, if you want to have one press conference after the selection and air your grievances, fine. That's standard. You're telling your side of the story. The press needs to hear it. We'll write the stories. People can debate it. The world goes on and on. The fact of the matter is that continuing to go on every single show you can find, in every single radio program, and get onto social media and get in front of another press conference and talk to the college, it's just embarrassing. And no one feels bad for Notre Dame. No one. We don't feel bad. You want to play by all your own rules. You want to play all the service academies all the time. You want to kind of get into a conference, but kind of not because you kind of want to do your own thing. Well, if you're going to go out there and do your own thing, you better take care of your business. And flatly, you put this in the committee's hands. And they had to choose between 3 teams that had comparable resumes. And if you want to sit here and complain that Alabama didn't move back for losing in the SC championship game, well, you can do that, but I'm just not going to listen, and I don't care. Go win the games you're supposed to win. You didn't beat Miami. You lost. You didn't beat Texas A&M on your home field. You lost. So I don't need you to play in a bowl game. You can take your ball and go home. The fact of the matter is that it's embarrassing to continue to get up there and scald everyone when your football team went out there and lost to the 2 playoff teams that you had a chance to go beat. Bama went out and beat a playoff team. They went to Georgia and won the game. Okay? They won the game. You had your 2 chances against playoff teams, and you got beat. 3 points, 20 points, whatever. But don't tell me about one of the most dominant runs in college football history that includes wins over Boise State and Pittsburgh, because I'm just not going to listen to you. I'm certainly not going to take you seriously. If you want to have your time right out of the chute and state your case, just stop with this whole tour. It's embarrassing. And if you want to say that the ACC's done irreparable damage to the relationship, well, then get out of the ACC. Go join a real conference. Go join the SEC. Go play in the Big Ten. Go do what we all do. You want to treat yourself all special and you don't have to do it by everybody else's rules? Fine. Well, these are the rules. We have a committee that picks, and they picked against you because you played two teams that are functional and you lost both games. And the fact that you don't come out there and say that in the middle of your deal, that's the part I don't like about public relations. And that's what you're trying to do right now. Don't sell me Syracuse. No one cares. Pitiful from Notre Dame. That's why I don't like Notre Dame. I don't recruit against Notre Dame ever. LSU rarely plays Notre Dame. It's not a rival, but I don't like Notre Dame because they feel like they're better than everybody else. And we can do it our own way. Well, enjoy sitting home all December. And your coach might go leave to the coach of the Giants. So we'll see. We got a lot to do in hour number 2. Colin Jeter is going to be with us coming up at the top of the hour. And we'll also talk about the coaches that are in Oxford right now, but are on LSU's payroll. What does all that mean? We'll do that coming up in 20 minutes after SportsCenter and Colin on this Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing. Lifetime Roofing. You got options when you decide to get a roof inspection, when you decide to get a roof repair, when you decide to get a new roof. Consider wisely and go with Lifetime Roofing. They're based here in Baton Rouge. They service the entire state of Louisiana, no matter where you are. If you're on the North Shore, you're down in New Orleans, you're over in Lafayette, or you're certainly right here in our listening area in Baton Rouge, Lifetime Roofing, happy to help you out. They offer roof replacements, as I mentioned, roof repairs, roof tune-ups. Go to the website, lifetimeroofingla.com, and put that information in and get that Lifetime Roofing crew out to your home today. Roof is nothing to mess around with. You know that around here in South Louisiana. You got to take that very seriously, especially when storm season comes around. Contact the team at Lifetime Roofing at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. Protect your home. Protect your greatest investment. It's Lifetime Roofing at lifetimeroofingla.com.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This menu is a masterpiece. Delivers every time.
This is the worst party ever. Raising Cane's!
Let's go!
The party is saved!
Peter, Mr. Billingsley.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A reunion for Phillip Rivers and the Colts, with starting quarterback Daniel Jones sidelined for the season with a torn right Achilles. Backup Riley Leonard dealing with a knee injury. Indy signed the 44-year-old Rivers to its practice squad. His last NFL game, January 2021, with Indy. Team brought him in for a workout last night, and he threw the ball well. Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
This is a desperation move, right? Yeah. And no disrespect to Phillip Rivers, because I think he should be a Hall of Famer. Eventually, he should get the Hall call to Canton. But the only ex-Colts quarterback that's coming through that door to save the franchise is Andrew Luck. And I'm not talking about him coming in to play quarterback. I'm talking about him coming in to run the damn thing.
Colts are 1-2 in the postseason in GM Chris Ballard's tenure. Dodgers got bullpen hope, and the best closer on baseball's free agent market agreed on a 3-year, $69 million deal with former Mets reliever Edwin Diaz. Average annual record for a relief pitcher. The Mets signed reliever Devin Williams last week in case Diaz left. Slugger Kyle Schwarber is finalizing a 5-year, $150 million contract to stay with the Phillies, reports ESPN's Jeff Passan.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Wednesday. Chiefs, Ravens, or Bengals. I'll tell you which team will actually benefit from missing the playoffs this year. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Get to LSU and Ole Miss's coaches that are in Baton Rouge, but then went to Oxford, and they're going to coach in the playoff and then come back, but have they signed contract? We'll get to all that coming up in 15 minutes. For now, we'll chat with our guy, Colin Jeter, former LSU tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association, with us in studio. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Saints got a win this weekend.
Saints did get a win this weekend. We like that. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it's good to get a little upset on the Bucs. That was a good little win.
They play great, and hopefully they can do that in the last four when they play some not so great teams. I mean, Carolina's okay. We know the Titans and Jets are not very good, so the opportunity's there.
Yeah. Now, do we want them to win, or do we want the draft pick?
I'll take either one. So if they don't play very well, we'll take a high draft pick. But really, you want Shuck to play well.
Yeah.
If Shuck plays well, you've got a decent chance to beat these bad teams. Like, Shuck could play well, and you could still lose to the Rams. But if Shuck plays good, I just don't think they're going to lose to the Jets. Like, that's stands to reason.
I have to agree. The Jets just can't figure it out. I don't know what it is about the Jets. It's never going to happen.
I'm laughing because there's a what I don't even know why we're diving down this, but why not? The Nets, Mets, Jets fans in New York that are not Yankees, Knicks, and what am I missing there?
Giants.
The Giants there. There's just a lot of championships in my lifetime from those teams. Nets, Mets, Jets, just nothing, and that's just a lifetime of misery. A lot of passion, but a lot of misery.
Yeah, it's tough.
Let's talk about bowl games. LSU's going to the Texas Bowl. They're playing against Houston. And we heard from Frank Wilson today. Sounds like a pretty sizable chunk of LSU's roster is going to play in this game. You never know, which is why I can't get all jazzed up about bowl games, because sometimes they're just completely not competitive. But what's your memory of playing in bowl games in a bygone era that didn't have coaches getting hired and fired this early and didn't have necessarily transfer portal as the top story of December?
Yeah, it was a different time. You know, when I was there was kind of right when players started to opt out. So I feel like I kind of got the end of the golden era of college football. You know, guys still cared about bowl games, played all that. But now, I mean, it's just bizarre because you have 12 teams go to this playoff, and then beyond that, it kind of feels like, oh, let's just go play the bowl game to play it. You know, so I understand maybe the players' disinterest in it. I get the guys who are high draft picks who don't really want to risk injury. I mean, you think of guys like Jake Butt tore his ACL. He was a top prospect. There was the linebacker at Notre Dame tore his ACL.
Ford,
yeah, it's just there's some risk there. Obviously, as an athlete and competitor, you want to play, but I get that side of it. It's just different. And now it's weird to me that a lot of these schools that are 5 and 7 that wouldn't even have a shot, now they're getting calls to come play in a bowl game. They're turning them down. So it's just a completely different feel now.
Two Big 12 teams that are taking a $500,000 fine to not play in a bowl game.
That's unbelievable to me. But, if they want to dish out $500,000 to somebody, I'm happy to take a call. So,
were all the bowl games you played in good, fun, or was there some that were better than others?
Yeah, so in 2014, we played Notre Dame in the Music City Bowl, where we got robbed. Brad Crackthorpe was in the end zone on a fake field goal, actually against Brian Kelly.
It was.
But 2015, 15 and 16, we played back-to-back NFL MVPs. 15, we played Mahomes and Texas Tech, and we beat the brakes off of them. And then 16, we played Lamar Jackson and Louisville, and also beat the brakes off of them. Yes. So 2 fun wins, kind of cool stories to tell now, but we still enjoyed them at the time.
I could tell the first play of the Texas Tech game. We knew at that time, it was Cliff Kingsbury, Texas Tech team. They didn't play a lot of defense. They threw it around and tried to score a lot. And you all lined up in an eye in the first play and tossed it to Leonard. And he ran for 19 yards. And I went, this is probably not going to be good for the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I got to say, of all the college games I played, and this is no dig to Texas Tech, that felt the most like a JV opponent more than anybody. We just pushed those guys around.
Yeah.
It was completely different. Big 12 ACC at the time, 2 different styles of play, and I think we showed it.
It says something about that Texas Tech roster that you had Cliff Kingsbury, who wasn't a rousing success as an NFL head coach, but they were okay for a while, and he went and had Jaden in the conference championship game. He's clearly a very good offensive coach, and he had Patrick Mahomes, and they lost 4 or 5 games. That tells you the state of that roster.
Yeah.
When you've got that mind and that quarterback, and you can't win anything.
Oh, no doubt. Very bizarre. I think Patrick played all right against us. He's still slung it around a little bit, but our defense back then, we were so good. It was a tough matchup for him.
That would have been Jamal Adams, Kendall Beckwith, Tre'Davious White, that crew.
Yeah, just
Devin White, maybe.
Yeah, I think Devin White might have been a freshman that year, but it was basically an NFL roster on defense. Pretty good guys on offense as well.
There's no doubt about that. And then the game against Lamar Jackson, he just didn't do anything, which was pretty wild because he'd won the Heisman.
Yeah, that game kind of solidified for me how good of a player Jamal Adams really was because if you watch the film after that game, he's basically spying Lamar from the safety position, and I'm talking covering him, the field's 53 and a third yards wide. He covered him from end to end. He was unbelievable. Jamal Adams, he was a one-of-a-kind player for us.
I would take Jamal Adams over every safety I've watched play at LSU. There's some good ones. Laron Landry, very good. Obviously, Grant Delpit had an awesome career here at LSU. Brandon Taylor's my guy from the 2011 team. Eric Reed was a great player as well. There's been great safeties for years at LSU. I think I would take Jamal Adams over any of them.
I agree.
That guy could really play. What's your impression been of the last 10 days of the Lane Kiffin era? Last time we spoke, we hadn't gotten to the signing period yet, hadn't made the announcement that Blake Baker was going to come back. What's your take on all that?
I think a lot of success so far. We signed our big 5-star recruits, at least most of them seems like. We got to keep Blake Baker, which I think is a huge win for us. I was kind of thinking I was on the side, I thought he was going to take that Tulane job. But the fact that we kept him, obviously we're paying him to stay, which is great. But I think the combination of Lane's offense, Blake Baker's defense, I think we're going to be pretty competitive next year. So I'm excited to see where all we go. And I know it's kind of awkward that the Ole Miss staff is kind of going back to coach them up, but hey, maybe we poach some players in there. So you never know, man. I think we got a lot to be excited about as LSU Tiger fans here next year. I think it's going to be a fun year.
How do you assess the defense this year as a whole? I think I've had trouble with it because most weeks they were really good, and then you look at the second half against A&M, you look at the Vanderbilt game, you look at really against Ole Miss. They were out there too long against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss had a lot of yards. How do you feel they played if you were to put a perspective on the entire year?
I think we finished top 5 in the conference, kind of high end, middle of the pack. I think there's a lot to grow on this year. Obviously, we've brought some players in that some of the guys might leave going into next year, but I think our defense was one unit that kept us in. Obviously, offensively, we struggled, and we put them in a lot of bad positions against teams that had mobile quarterbacks, explosive offenses, all that going on. But I think for the most part, the defense is what kind of we leaned on this year. I thought they played well enough to where if our offense was functional, I think we would have had a good year.
I don't know this, but I think this, and I'm reading a little bit into what Frank Wilson said in his press conference today, that Lane Kiffin is doing a lot now. The first week, you had to get that signing class done, and you've got to deal with your staff as well. But now you've kind of hit a lull there. A lot of your offensive staff's going to Oxford to coach. The LSU team starts bowl practice on Thursday. You're not involved in that. So I think there's going to be a lot of self-evaluation about this current LSU roster. What do you think he'll say about watching that offense play?
I think we got to get better up front. I think that's where it starts, and I know it's a topic we've talked about all year, but I think truly you cannot run an offense if you don't have the best 5 up front, at least a competitive 5 in the conference. And I'm not digging those guys. I'm hoping we can go in and improve in the offseason and become a functional offensive line, but we just made too many mistakes, too many mental errors, not great technique. That was a gaping hole for us this year. I mean, we had linebackers running through. We had pressure all the time. Tackles didn't grade well. You have to get that shirt up to be able to do anything. Even if we can't pass the ball, at least we can run the ball a little bit. This year, we couldn't really do either. So you have to have that. Let's start up front. Let's get those guys solidified. Maybe we get some young guys that we can build on here in the next year or two. And then, of course, the weapons outside. The way the college game is now, you can have, B players out wide and still score points. So I think truly focusing on let's get the offensive line up front. Let's get the quarterback play where it needs to be. I think those are the 2 biggest pieces of the recipe to score points.
He's got an offensive line coach coming in, Coach Wolford, coming in from Kentucky, and I think those guys will probably watch the tape and determine, okay, is this X's and O's, is this technique, or is this these guys can't cut it? And then you got to decide how to put together an offensive line for next season. And that's going to be, I think, high on their list of things to do. And I'm just curious to see who from this LSU offensive line, because they have a lot of guys that were 4- and 5-star recruits that have not gone to the transfer portal as of now that still have eligibility left to play. And I'm just curious how they're going to handle that room. I think that quarterback, they're going to go get one. Running back, you've kind of got 2 here that are pretty damn good, and we'll see what happens with the running back at Ole Miss and Kejuan Lacey. Maybe he comes to Baton Rouge, maybe he doesn't. I don't know anything, but it stands to reason he might look, especially with the whole staff coming here, if Kevin Smith comes here. But I'm curious to see what the LSU current offensive linemen do, how many of those guys jump in the portal. Because you got to imagine, let's just not even talk about offensive line. Whole roster. Lane Kiffin's going to look at some guys in the next 3 weeks and tap them on the shoulder and go, I think probably look elsewhere. And that's not a Lane Kiffin thing. That's literally every program in the country is going to have guys that go, probably need to look elsewhere. And I'm just curious to see how many times that happens with the LSU current offensive linemen.
I agree. It's honesty hour. It's one of those things. Look, LSU, we expect to be in the top of the country, offense, defense, special teams, and there's a reason we're not. So I think Lane's going to take this time to look into why we had all the struggles we had. Maybe it's scheme, maybe it's players, but regardless, whichever it is, he's going to make changes. I think for the better. Obviously, it's not maybe going to work out for everybody who was here last year, but it is what it is. We have to be better. We have to compete. Even if the guys didn't play well last year, like bring some competition in. Let's get that going, get those juices going, so maybe they can excel their game and get the Tigers where we need to be.
It's going to be interesting to see. The next 60 days are going to tell a ton about what LSU football looks like in 2026. I think there's a lot of confidence that as you move forward in the Lane Kiffin era, that ultimately it'll get where it's supposed to get. But if you're talking about just next year, they got to overhaul the roster like now. And so we'll see how that goes moving forward. Hoops on Saturday?
Hoops on Saturday, man. We got men's and women's Tigers playing in the Smoothie King Center down in New Orleans. We're going to be there. We're running a special promotion. We're actually going to be in the Hub Club. So food's included. It's a great venue to kind of hang out, talk to people, watch both games. Super excited about it. So check us out. Give us a call over at the Alumni Association. Look at our website, lsualumni.org. Come by. It's going to be a fun weekend. If you're into hoops, I think it's maybe probably a perfect early Christmas present. So it might be a good way to come in, watch both teams, see how the Tigers do.
The women score 100 every time they play. In fact, they have scored 100 in every game except one. The one they didn't score 100, they were at Duke, and they scored 93. So they'll take on Louisiana Tech, Coach Mulkey's alma mater. That game's at 5 o'clock over in the Smoothie King Center. And then after that, the men will play SMU. SMU's had a nice start to the season, and LSU's got to respond to a brutal outing on Sunday in Fort Worth. So should be a heck of an environment for basketball in the Smoothie King Center coming up on Sunday. You'll be there for both games?
Yeah, I'll be there for both. Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to that. We'll talk to Colin Jeter coming up next week. Enjoy the hoops this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Colin Jeter from the LSU Alumni Association. We'll come back. Let's talk about this staff situation with LSU and Ole Miss, these coaches that are going to Oxford, potentially coming back to LSU. Like, what does all that mean from both perspectives? I'll get into that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hitter's House at Marucci. Hitter's House at Marucci. Shop and save. You can swing into the holidays with the Hitter's House warehouse sale. open through Friday at 6 p.m., so you've still got a few days to get on by. I tell you every day, if you go on the campus tour at Marucci, you get 20% off in the Hitter's House that same day. So get tickets to the campus tour at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. You want cleats? They got cleats and traders. You want softball bats? They got them. Baseball bats? They got them. New grips for your bat? They got them. New grips for your golf clubs? They've got them there as well. And if you're trying to test some things out, take some hacks in the indoor batting cages over at Marucci. You can rent them out per round or by time limit. You can become a member and get 24/7 access to those member cages as well. That membership comes with a 15% retail store discount. We're telling you about the Hitter's House. It's open through Friday over at Marucci, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Hitter's House at Marucci.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Darrell May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Darrell May Remax Partners.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Darrell May, Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. Buying or selling a home? Call Darrell, 225-268-6915. Again, that's 225-268-6915. 20 years as a builder in Baton Rouge, so he knows what you should be looking for in your next buy. If you're looking to sell, Darrell is awesome with that as well. Knows the area well, knows the people to talk to, and certainly knows Baton Rouge as well as St. Francisville and the outer areas of the city where now he calls home. So give him a call, or reach out at darylmayproperties.com. Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners brings you our Tuesday shows. Okay, so we all understand all the drama that went into Lane Kiffin to LSU. And I don't think anyone would have thought it was some sort of crime for Lane Kiffin to leave Ole Miss to become the coach at LSU. The crime for most people is that he did it in the middle of a playoff run. I understand. I understand why Ole Miss is upset. I understand. But as I talked about the next day, I think Lane Kiffin was making a 6-year decision instead of a 6-week decision. That's what I think he was doing. And the timing of it sucked, but that's the timing. LSU doesn't come open every year. You can't just wait until next year, hope you're not in the playoff, and then go to LSU. You can't just wait until next year and take Florida. Like, maybe one of the jobs opens up next year. Maybe Bama opens up next year. Maybe not. And at this point, LSU was open. And he had a chance to go, and he did it. And the timing sucked, and he knew the timing sucked. And he sat there, and he wanted to coach the college football playoff, and Ole Miss said absolutely not. And everybody on the Ole Miss side of things said that's absolutely ridiculous that you would try that. And I said, personally, like, can't have the LSU head coach roaming your halls to coach the college football playoff. You just can't. That's your rival. He represents the other team. He's on the clock for the other team. He's trying to beat your brains in the rest of the way. Like, thanks for all you've done, Lane, but you got to go. And I said that last Monday. And everyone at Ole Miss said the same thing. And then you realize, well, we got a playoff to play in. And a lot of our offensive staff works for LSU. Our head coach is an offensive guy. He's gone. Our offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr., is gone. Our wide receivers coach, George McDonald, is gone. Our tight ends coach, Joe Cox, is gone. Dane Stevens works with our quarterbacks. He's gone. Sawyer Jordan is an analyst, and he's gone. Like, we got a skeleton crew here. Like, we might have an offensive line coach. We got Joe Judge, but we got Kevin Smith. But we don't have a lot. And we'd really like to do well in the playoffs here. We're Ole Miss. We don't make the playoffs a lot. And so this hard and firm stance on Lane Kiffin did not apply to the assistants, and all of them now are being welcomed back to Oxford to try to make this thing go. Now, I understand that Lane Kiffin is the guy who made the decision to leave, and the others are just following a job. They need job security, and maybe Pete Golding would have them back, but at the point where Lane was about to get on the plane, like, Pete didn't have the job yet. Everything was happening really fast on that Sunday. So these guys said, well, we know we have a job there, and Lane's going to be there for a second, so we'll go ahead and go there where we know we get the job. So they're not persona non grata in Oxford. That's Lane Kiffin. So their decision to go to LSU is not quite the same, but that's what this is. Because this line about, well, Lane Kiffin's just going to be recruiting guys to LSU. He's going to be recruiting guys to LSU. Well, all these guys are going to be recruiting for LSU at a certain point in time. And the fact of the matter is that in this day and age, you don't have to be inside the building to recruit guys somewhere else. There's tampering constantly, whether that's LSU to Ole Miss to LSU, or vice versa. Or anywhere in the country. There's tampering everywhere. This decision that Lane Kiffin could not coach the Ole Miss team had nothing to do with recruiting, had nothing to do with tampering, had nothing to do with promoting LSU. It had everything to do with, we hate you, now get out. That's what this was. And that's okay. It's okay to hate the guy who bailed. But if your worry was an LSU rep being in the building, recruiting some of your players to go to a different roster, like allowing the entire LSU offensive coaching staff to be in your building for a month, pretty much counteracts that notion. All this is we hate Lane Kiffin. And look, I held a grudge against John Chavis. He left LSU for Texas A&M. It had nothing to do with a playoff run, but I don't like folks that jump to a rival for a lateral move. And the Ole Miss folks would suggest this was a lateral move. But you can't now stand on the leg of there's anything other than we just hate that you quit on us. And that's fine. Like, that's the crux of this. But there was some concern in Baton Rouge and perhaps some optimism in Oxford that these staffers had not signed a contract, were not bound to LSU, and could, in fact, now that things have smoothed in Oxford, Pete Golding could have them back on the offensive side of the football. And based on Matt Moscona's reporting at LouisianaSports.net and the developments of today where Ole Miss actually has hired an offensive coordinator, they went and hired East Carolina's offensive coordinator who had been co-offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, that essentially locks up the fact that you're not going to have Charlie Weiss come back. Like, Charlie Weiss is not going back to Ole Miss. They hired an offensive coordinator. He's going to be Lane Kiffin's offensive coordinator at LSU. And you get the sense that that offensive coordinator is going to want his guys, and that George McDonald and Joe Cox and Dane Stevens and Sawyer Jordan will be at LSU once this college football playoff run is over for Ole Miss. Matt is reported at LouisianaSports.net that a memorandum of understanding with non-compete language has been signed by these staffers that are going back to Ole Miss for the month, and that they are bound to LSU with a non-compete when they come back. Now, look, I'm not an attorney. I don't pretend to be an attorney. I was under the impression that an MOU was not binding, was not enforceable by law. I don't know anything about coercion in contracts either, and whether that circumstance holds up. Like, that's way above my pay grade. But I think while I looked at this with that memorandum of understanding and went, okay, I don't feel awesome about that, but whatever. Then when Ole Miss goes and hires an offensive coordinator, you realize that they're moving on in Oxford. These guys are moving on to LSU once this run is over. And for me, as an LSU guy, like, what do you think about your guys coaching Ole Miss in the playoff? I understand this. I understand the human aspect of this. These are not guys who have only been in Oxford for 10 months. These are guys that have spent multiple years recruiting that roster, cultivating relationships with that roster, battling with those guys day in and day out, in fall camp in the heat, out on the field, in Norman, Oklahoma, in Athens, Georgia, in Starkville, Mississippi, like trying to win games to get to 11-1, and they got a chance now to go try to compete and win. And that's why you get in the business. Part of it is to win games, win championships, and they got a chance to do it. That's why I thought Lane Kiffin really wanted to coach this team. Just not realistic. So I'm okay with it. I'm not pulling for him. Like, sorry. I'm not pulling. I want Tulane to win that game by 500. I don't think Tulane has any business being in the college football playoff, but I would like them to win this game coming up by 3 scores. They will not. They will get torched, but I'm pulling against Ole Miss, even with a bunch of LSU employees on the staff. I'd like them to lose and come to Baton Rouge. But I understand why they want to do it. And I understand some people go, well, if you're an LSU coach, how could you coach Ole? Well, it's a job for these guys. They're not dyed in the wool like you are. They don't look at it that way. So for me, this just kind of illuminates the whole situation, that it's not that no one could ever be the LSU coach and come work at Ole Miss. It's that you hate Lane Kiffin, you don't welcome him back, but all these guys who followed him based on his decision-making, you are welcome back, because we know we're Ole Miss. We may not get to this playoff. We may not get to this point anytime in the near future. So while we're here, we might as well try to capitalize on it with anybody that will come help us. And now these guys from LSU will come help them. So Charlie Weiss Jr., George McDonald, Joe Cox, Dane Stevens, Sawyer Johnson, all in Oxford right now getting ready for the playoff. They'll coach this team for a couple of weeks. If they win another game, they'll coach it for 3 weeks. They win another game, they'll coach it for 4 weeks. But when that run is over in Oxford, they'll all be headed to Baton Rouge to be on Lane Kiffin's staff and assemble a roster. Start coaching them here at LSU. So you can read more about that at LouisianaSports.net. All right, there's a press release that just came through. Oh, all SEC teams. We'll talk to you about the LSU team, guys that made the all SEC teams. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Tough to work on the golf game in the winter. Gets dark right when work's over. Rains, it's freezing cold sometimes. You obviously know the general issues with driving ranges around here where can't grow grass in the winter. There's not enough grass. You got scuffed up golf balls. Just the wind's blowing. It's just not good for working on your golf game. Eliminate all that. Go to Swing Easy. Get one of your private bays. You can turn on the driving range function on the simulator. I'm telling you, these simulators are incredibly accurate. When I went and did that challenge a few weeks ago, it could tell, based on the spin rate of the golf ball, whether or not I was hitting a Pro V1 that was spinning back on that green, or I was hitting an old Scrixon that was bouncing and moving forward like a lump of coal. It's amazing. And you can work on your game. You can see your carry distance. You can see your ball speed, swing speed. You can see where your club impacts the ball. You can really work on your game outside the elements. It's a great thing at Swing Easy Golf Club. I talk about the fun you can have there, and you certainly can. But if you want to work on your golf game in the winter months, Swing Easy Golf Club's a great place to do that. They're on Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
I'm lawyer Colin Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes, and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Darrell May RE/MAX Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Darrell May RE/MAX Partners.
All right, Tuesday show is brought to you by Darrell May, RE/MAX Partners. I'm going to put you on the spot there, Jordan. LSU had 2 first-team All-Southeastern Conference selections this season. Would you care to guess who those 2 are?
Can I get one more hint? Does the side of the ball, or is that too much of a giveaway, the side of the ball?
Brother, if you think there's a first-team All-SEC player on that offense, I got real news for you.
Okay. First team, Halsey?
A.J. Halsey, first team All-SEC.
Okay, Halsey and Perkins?
No Perkins.
Okay,
you're missing an obvious one.
Oh, Delane.
Mansour Delane and A.J. Halsey, 2 LSU defensive backs named to the first team All-SEC by the SEC coaches. the league office announced on Tuesday. See what you got. LSU led the SEC in pass efficiency defense. Only team in the league to have more interceptions, 17, than touchdown passes allowed, 10. That wasn't even close. LSU's defense also paced the league in interceptions, passes defended, and passes broken up with 50. This is obviously not a segment I've prepped because this press release came across 8 minutes ago, so I'm just kind of doing this on the fly. But come on. What are we talking about here? Corey Raymond leaves for 5 minutes, and you field the worst pass defense you have ever had. You hire him back, and I know that Jake Olson deserves a lot of credit for A.J. Halsey, certainly, but you read into these statistics. It took him 2 years to get a Thorpe Award finalist, On3's National Defensive True Freshman of the Year in DJ Pickett, and you're setting all these SEC marks where you were the only team in the league that had more interceptions than touchdown passes allowed. You had the most interceptions in the league, most passes defended in the league, most passes broken up in the league. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about here? This is so obvious, so easy, and you've got a guy that is just a rock star at cornerbacks coach. And Jake Olson deserves a lot of credit as well. These two guys came in. Tulane was a third-team All-ACC player last year. Halsey had been wildly productive at both of his previous starts at New Mexico and at Houston. So awesome work for those guys to be first-team players. There, let's see. Second team. There was one second-teamer and two third-teamers. You mentioned Harold Perkins, who was a third-teamer. The second-teamer was on offense.
Ooh, okay.
See if you can get that.
Okay. Harlem Berry.
Not Harlem Berry.
Trey-Daz Green.
Trey-Daz Green is correct. Second team All-SEC. I am so excited to see what Lane Kiffin can do with Trey-Daz Green.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of pieces to the puzzle that Lane Kiffin has had. You look at the wide receivers that he had when he was in Tuscaloosa. You look at what Trey Harris was at Ole Miss last year when he was healthy, which was phenomenal. Kejuan Lacey had a monster year this year for the Rebels. He had Jackson Dart, a first-round quarterback. Like, we've seen him with some really good players in Oxford and Tuscaloosa. We have not seen him operate with a 6'7" SEC basketball player at tight end.
Yeah.
And I would like a ticket to that.
First things first, Trey-Daz has to make the layups. No pun intended with the basketball, but it's got to, the little slant routes, the easy catches. You got to make those. We've seen you. If it's two guys on him, he's coming down with it. But if he's wide open, slant across the middle, he's dropping that.
He's a basketball player.
Yes.
He catches jump balls. He catches rebounds.
Yes.
Not missiles. And that's just he's just going to have to work on that. And this is a guy in Trey-Daz Green that has a big NFL future if he can improve. And you feel like the improvement is so attainable because he just started playing football. He talked to us last year in the spring about how he was a basketball player. He only played basketball. And then they took him out for football, and he went to one practice. And at one practice, Houston saw him and offered him a scholarship. Here, scholarship. Never played a game. Practice. And this was just 4 years ago. So he becomes a 5-star, number one tight end of the country, but he's still incredibly raw. And he's able to use those raw skills when you just throw him up jump balls. But when you're talking about the technical aspects of running routes and the technical aspects of catching the ball with your hands and catching the ball in traffic, it's just reps. He's got the athleticism to do it, but you feel like because he's not devoted this much time to it in his life, keep in mind, he played basketball this past year. He left football, lost 20 pounds, worked on hoops for 2.5 months. Those days are over. It's football all the time. And he's going to continue to put on weight. He's going to get better. And I just keep waiting I'm going to have to wait until Clemson game or maybe a little bit into the schedule to see Lane Kiffin scheme something up and us get guys running wide open down the field, which never happens. But it does for him. And Trey-Daz Green's going to be one of those guys, and he's going to be a difficult dude to deal with. So you got Trey-Daz Green on the second team. Also on the third team, Damian Ramos and Grant Chadwick from LSU, both special teamers. make the third team. I thought Ramos had a really nice year. He finishes it with the most points in the history of LSU football, the most field goals in the history of LSU football. Going to come up short on extra points, I'm afraid, but is a record-setting kicker at LSU. And then I thought Grant Chadwick did a good job, and he's only a sophomore, so 2 years left for Grant Chadwick. I think that's a guy you can work with as well. So I don't think any significant snubs there for LSU. Braylon Moore got hurt, and I don't think necessarily played at quite the level you're looking for there. Whit Weeks wasn't out on the field enough. DJ Pickett, I think, could have gotten some recognition, but I got to see who the other corners were and what they did. And DJ Pickett only allowed one touchdown all year, and it was the busted coverage that he had in Norman. So it wasn't even as if he got beat. He just was in the wrong spot. And so I thought he potentially could garner some of that attention. But that's probably it. You weren't going to get anybody at wide receiver. You weren't going to get anybody at running back. Certainly Nussmeier and Van Buren weren't going to qualify at quarterback. I think you kind of maxed out. Bernard Gooden got hurt. I don't know if he played at an all-conference level. So I think all the guys that LSU had on the field that could have gotten some recognition outside of DJ Pickett probably got it. You got Mansour Delane, first team. A.J. Halsey, first team. Trey'Dez Green, second team. Harold Perkins, third team. Damian Ramos, third team. And Grant Chadwick, third team. I was writing about Harold Perkins today, which I'll dovetail that into Harold Perkins here. Harold Perkins has announced, he didn't announce, the East-West Shrine Game announced that he will be playing in their game on January the 26th. And that essentially wraps up Harold Perkins' career. He is a redshirt junior. He does have another year of eligibility to come back if he chooses to, but it doesn't appear that's going to be the case for him. He's going to move on to the professional ranks, and you would expect that. He came back this year when he didn't have to, coming off the injury, wanted to prove that he was healthy. He did that. I know that Harold Perkins didn't have the season that many were suggesting that he would have from a sacks perspective. He never dominated games like he did in his freshman season, the game against Arkansas, to an extent, the game against Alabama that year where he spied Bryce Young and was so good. But he was far from a missing person this year. He played in every game. He finished with 56 total tackles. That was sixth on LSU's team. He led LSU in tackles for loss with 8. He led LSU in sacks with 4. He had 3 interceptions this season, 7 more hurries. He had an effective season this year. It was not dominant. It was not first-team All-American. He's not going to be a top 15 pick in the draft like we probably thought he might have been as a freshman. But to suggest that Harold Perkins was some sort of bust or had a bad season would be wrong. Like, that would be wrong. He had a good season for LSU this year and was among LSU's leaders in a number of categories, including as disruptive as anybody. You consider that LSU, from a sacks perspective, only had 27 this year, and he's the only player that had more than 2.5 sacks on the team. He had 4 of them this year. 8 TFLs, tied West Weeks for the most on the team, and the interceptions, that 3 were tied for the most on the team with A.J. Halsey. So he was impactful in a lot of different ways. He was third on the team in hurries with 7 and had a fumble recovery and forced fumble. So I thought Harold Perkins had a good year this year. I think it's important for him to go to the East-West Shrine Game and get in front of as many scouts as possible. It's going to come down to Harold Perkins for one team kind of falling in love with what they can do with him, because he never found a true role at LSU. What he's best at is rushing the passer on third downs. That's what he's best at. But he can't play there on first down because he's too small. So you have to find space for him to play in. You have to find a way to use his skill set until you can get him down to the box to go rush the passer and kind of wreak havoc. And I thought LSU did a better job of that this year. It never looked like the 7.5 sack freshman year that he had. But I thought he did a good job for the majority of this year, playing a role at linebacker and being productive in a number of different ways. And for that, the SEC coaches honored him with third-team All-League honors, which I think is well-deserved for Harold Perkins Jr. So that's a look at LSU on the All-SEC team. Step aside, come back, close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. There's someone in your life that is aging, potentially may need some help in the bathroom, whether that's non-slip floors, whether that's a shower with a bench in it, whether that's guardrails at slippery places, or a walk-in tub that's more convenient and safer. David Duvall and his team are happy to help you with that. They can come in, analyze just the current situation there and get you caught up on what it takes to get it done. And if you're looking for financing options, they've got 0% up to 18 months if you qualify. It's One Bath and Closets. You can get that free consultation online at onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May Remax Partners.
Daryl May, Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. You've always wanted to get that hunting property, but you don't really know where to start. Daryl May is where you start. He's happy to help you out with hunting land up in Point Capee, up in the Felicianas, or up into Woodville, Mississippi, anywhere in the state of Mississippi. Daryl May, happy to help you out with that. You give him a call, 225-268-6915, 225-268-6915. Check him out at darylmayproperties.com. Daryl May with Remax Partners bring you our Tuesday shows each and every week. Been a fast-moving show here on this Tuesday. Got some stories up at LouisianaSports.net right now about the Ole Miss assistants, about LSU's all-conference teams, Harold Perkins' participation in the East-West Shrine Bowl. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a full LSU baseball fall recap. I didn't think that last week was a very good week to do that when you hired a new football coach and it was National Signing Day and you had the Blake Baker drama. So I realized that you're now 10 days in the rearview mirror of fall baseball, and it's been a minute, but last week was just not a good time. So if you're looking for some LSU baseball, an LSU baseball fix, I will have that on LouisianaSports.net tomorrow morning. One of the first things that we'll have up there on the site. So it's all free, and it'll be there tomorrow morning. One last order of business on this Tuesday, and that, of course, is Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs. The flavor you're looking for from a cold beer, what you're looking for out of a light beer as well. If you're into a light beer, even this time of year, which I am, try Flight by Yingling next time you're stopping by and picking up that 6-pack, picking up that 12-pack. It's the next generation of light beer.
Okay, let's start it off with the Evil Empire, a.k.a. the Los Angeles Dodgers, as they just signed the best closer on the market, inking a 3-year, $69 million deal with former Mets closer Edwin Diaz. Does the MLB need a salary cap? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it.
Leave it
I
alone.
wouldn't hate it if they got a salary cap. I feel like the Cubs have an advantage over a lot of teams in the league, even though they don't use the advantage. But you would be foolish to look at what the Dodgers are doing and not have your eyebrows raised a little bit. I'll say this. I complain about the Cubs ownership not spending money. The Cubs, in terms of ratio of revenues to salary, are the lowest in the baseball. They have, when you compare the two, they have the highest revenue with the lowest salary relative to that.
That's crazy.
So it breaks my heart that happens. And I can't feel that way and then criticize the Dodgers. The Dodgers are doing what the rules allow them to do. But it's comical. Like, you're talking about a team that plays this Major League Baseball game like I played video games in the late 90s, where you just get all the best players and win the World Series every year. Like last year, they signed the top 2 closers on the market. This year, they're signing the top closer on the market. Roki Sasaki, number 1 Japanese posted player. They get him. Yamamoto, get him. Freddie Freeman, get him. Trade for Mookie Betts, get him. Like, these are MVPs, Cy Youngs, highest paid players in the sport. Oh, by the way, they got Ohtani too. It's hard to imagine beating them over the course of 7 games. Now, the Blue Jays had it. They were right there.
It was close.
But the Blue Jays are a top 5 payroll team in baseball as well. If you are the Royals, or you are the Rays, or you're the
Pirates.
Nationals, like you just feel like I got no shot. And I could make the case you don't, because they're insanely good.
Yeah, man. Speaking of, I guess, not too good, Derek Queen becomes the first. Hey, little Pelicans. Derek Queen becomes the first rookie center to record a 30-point triple-double last night. Is it time to move off power forward number 1? Take it or leave it. I ain't saying his name. Power forward number 1.
Take it.
I'll take it.
I don't know what you can get for Zion at this point.
Nothing. Bag of chips.
You get a second-round pick in 2031.
Well, look, this is what you got to do. I said it in my Pelican School video the other day. I said, look, the Pelicans need to do, you got to get Zion on the court immediately and let him do a 360 dunk. The second does a 360 dunk, shut him down, trade him. That's his stock is always at its peak once he does a 360 dunk. Yeah, just one little breakaway fast break, 360 dunk, that's it.
Are you feeling okay about the Queen trade now, considering it's an unprotected pick?
I've been okay with the move because you kind of can't do nothing about it. It is what it is, but also the Pelicans won 20 games last year and got the 7th pick. So it's a lottery at the end of the day. It ain't like, the NFL, we get bad here. So, look, Derek Queen, first rookie ever to do this. You got to give him some type of credit for that. Like, that's insane.
That's a good line. He's been good.
He's been good. Can't even buy a beer, and he's doing all this. So you just got to.
I'll buy you a beer, Derek. I got you covered.
Hey, look. Well, that's a problem. If Derek Queen has to get somebody to buy him a beer in New Orleans and not everybody just not like, oh, that's Derek Queen, let him through, that's an issue at hand. But anyway, let's wrap this up. So, Fernando Mendoza?
That's right.
Yeah, Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, Julian Sane, and Diego Pavia are the 4 finalists for the Heisman. Is Mendoza going to take it home on Saturday? Take it or leave it.
I will take it. He's a prohibitive favorite.
I'll take it.
I can listen to an argument for Diego Pavia, but with Mendoza, it's not like they lit it up against Ohio State, but he hits the fade route at the end there. Played through some big hits. They had a great season. Won at Eugene, beat Ohio State. Like, I'm not going to complain about it. It's not the most dynamic Heisman winner I've ever seen, but I'm okay with him getting the award. I think Pavia elevated his team to a level we probably didn't think so, but it's not like Mendoza was it's just that Mendoza's team did it last year, so I guess we had more experience with it.
And also, again, they're undefeated at Indiana.
Yeah.
And I'll get it. Vanderbilt's out the ashes, but this is Indiana we're talking about. It's a basketball school flipping it on top of the head. So that's it for it. Take it or leave it.
Pretty salty. All right. If you missed any of the show today, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Search us at Hunt Palmer Show. If you're looking for your LSU content, Hunt on LSU. Looking for your Saints content, Hunt on Saints. Very easy. Wherever you find your podcast, as well as on YouTube. We talked about the Ole Miss coaches going back to Ole Miss and then coming back to LSU. Talked about Notre Dame's AD going nuts. Talked about LSU's all-conference players. Talked about the available players LSU will have in this bowl game coming up at the end of December, and why I think it should be a reasonably competitive football game and not a complete joke like some of these bowl games are. All that on today's fun and fast-moving show. Shout out Daryl May, RE/MAX Partners, for making our Tuesday shows possible. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for a Wednesday edition Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders,